Hi, welcome back. It's Lionel, tech lead and partner at Westfolk, and today I have another video brought to you by my clients who always give me such wonderful content to actually talk to you guys about. I don't even have to come up with this stuff. I have a client meeting and I go, gee, I need to explain this to you guys, right? And from our conversations and from what I've been saying, you may think that I'm a back-end guy, right? I've been talking about PHP, I've been talking about delivery, and I haven't been talking very much about front end. And there's a specific reason for it because of where PHP is. But one of the things that you guys might be wondering is why front end developers seem to be paid so much money. You know, if you go through the list on the jobs and the job sites, you see front end usually towards the higher end. And you're saying, what is this? Explain to you that how complex front end can be and how frustrating it is. Now, for those of you who do not understand, the internet has split into two kinds of programming, okay? We'll call this the middleware and the front end, okay? Usually back end includes the database, but we won't talk about database. So the back end just consists of generating results. So you put in 4, you get 8. Just static variables, that is all. But the front end is all the stuff that makes the design, the look, the feel of the website. And that was early 2000s. Today, front end includes all those animations, all the JavaScript, all those effects that spin around and move around. And you're saying, why? You know, backend should be more complex. You're dealing with a database, you're dealing with all this kind of stuff, you're talking about optimization. That is true. However, the frustration of front-end developers, right, is in visual. And the first issue is that clients just don't understand, right? They are probably very used to seeing Microsoft Word, clicking on a website, maybe they've done something very simple, and they think that's what happens. So when you go and watch a movie, right, you don't care that Avengers, how much CGI was there, how many millions of dollars was done, how many hours that it took to make an animation exactly. So if you think about, the water droplets or something being animated, you never think about that stuff. All you know is that it looks like that, and you just simply think that's how it's done. Same thing with the clients. They look at it, they say drop boxes, they look at this, and they say, oh, well, that's all you have to do is do it like this. And that's where the frustration of the front-end developer comes in. Anything that's simple is very difficult to do, especially to mimic something. So what am I talking about? If you've seen early days in animation, the color of the sky, right, looks horrible. You would never suspect, especially when you play video games and stuff, that there's so much work that goes into creating the visuals, how light bounces off. Take a look at the Unity 5 engine. Unreal engines, and you'll see the amount, millions of dollars go into this front-end stuff. That is the kind of work that front-end developers do. And it's extremely difficult for the clients to understand. So that's first reason one. Second reason is that there is a lot of cross, coding. So you're dealing with different viewports, different devices that have emerged over the last 10, 20 years. Long time ago, you only had one device, the desktop website, probably one browser. Today, you have mobile, you have Android, you've got web app, you've got all this. Now, the problem with this, right, is that if you want something that works on every platform, you need something that's called responsive. And responsive is something that means that it's no more something fixed. It has to be coded and changes by the environment that you're in. To give you an example, imagine scalar, right? So I'm going to try to be very clear about this one. A simple line, right, could cost you 10 dots, or it could be a formula, y equals mx plus c. That's a scalar. Figuring out how many lines work together so that the line looks exactly the same across many platforms is very, very tricky, especially if they are codependent. So what does that mean? That means if I change the left, it affects the right. I change the right, it affects the left. This happens all the time in websites because it's responsive. You want something that looks good in mobile, you want something that looks good in desktop. You change the desktop, you affect the mobile. You change the mobile, you affect the desktop. This is extremely frustrating. So it's a very much balancing, changing stuff. So I don't envy the job of front-end developers. They are not appreciated. They have a very difficult thing to look at. And the third point is today's world of all the animations that are all there. Now, one point I need to make is that you see an animation that has already been created and someone just puts it and plugs it in, right? And it works flawlessly. What you don't see is the number of hours that have gone into that. So again, same thing with the Avengers movie. When they make the next movie, say Avengers 4, and you see the Hulk, right? All that work was already done in Avengers 1. So they just have to replug that guy in, reanimate it, and they save all the time. That's why sequels make a lot of money. But if you had to redo, let's say we didn't have the code, we didn't have the Unreal Engine, and I had to simulate the Hulk. How many millions of dollars do we need hours to know about that proprietary knowledge? Thousands and thousands. So it's very difficult. What looks easy visually, right? You just say, hey, he's a green guy. But then you look at the real actor himself is, 1/8 the size of that guy. So thinking about all the motions and all that, it's very difficult. Now, on a smaller scale, websites are like that. If you've seen some of this stuff, scroll to features, changing features, JavaScript features, both on mobile and on desktop, you will see that a lot of these animations take a lot of time first time round. So front-end studios take a lot of time and it's difficult to implement this. Very difficult to explain to the client that this happens. But if you did it yourself, you start to see all the problems that happen, One very good example is Cyberpunk 2077, right? And they had a lot of glitching, lots of bugs going on there because the studio was new to building this 3D stuff. They had done some stuff previously, but this was a very ambitious project. So this is the kind of stuff that can happen. They can be really stressed, they can really lose a lot of money on that. That's what happened. It's very difficult on front-end stuff to get it right, and I really appreciate the guys who actually do the stuff. I'm with you guys. I sit on the community here for Vue.js, and I respect you guys from the bottom, okay? And that's the bottom line because Tech Lead said so.